शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। Namaskaram, Hari Om, good evening to one and all. Suhasini has used very big words. I am not going to enlighten because this is already an enlightened crowd. Today we have all assembled here to celebrate Lord Vinayaka Chaturthi, the ever young Lord Ganesha. Generally I stand there, it makes my work more easier. Today the temple committee has given me a responsibility of talking something about Lord Ganesha, and I hope I live up to that. When we say Lord Ganesha, there are two things that come to our mind. The first one is Vigna Vinashakam, the remover of all obstacles. The second one is a God to whom we pray and pay all our first obeisances before undertaking any task. The first God to get all our prayers, be it Ayush Homam or a Graha Pravesham or a pilgrimage. When we go to pilgrimage, what we do? We first break a coconut to the Lord and then we proceed. Or a kindergarten school admission. So Ganesha is most sought after during these times because engineering medicine also is very easy to get seat. Kindergarten you have to write an entrance exam. So for that, first they come do an archana in the name of the child and then proceed. So he's a very, very special God. In Chennai, if you go, every street will have at least 3-4 Pillayas. Pillayas anidi anganga irukum, kuti kutiya. A small room, in that one small Pillayar, one pujari to do puja for that. See, so apt. Our forefathers have taught it long back. Even in Bangalore we meet, because there are so many obstacles on the road, potholes, humps, without any zebra crossing mark. So every hump, every pothole requires a Ganesha, so that we reach our destination safely. So as I said, he is a very special God. See, Rama was born, Avadaram eduthathu Ravana Vadam. There was an intention. Krishna was born, Kamsa Vadam, to uphold Dharma. Murugan was born, Surapadmana Vadam Pandathukku. But how was Ganesha born? He was born out of affection, out of love. One of the theories says, Parvati, from the sweat of Parvati he was born. Because she wanted a son whom she could call on her own. Lalita Sahasranamathula சொல்றது காமேஸ்வர முகாலோல கல்பித ஸ்ரீ கணேஸ்வர அப்படின்னு. மகேஸ்வரோட பார்வையால கணேசர் உத்பவரானார். So he is a God born out of affection, out of love. There is no particular reason, which means he is a God for all reasons, for all seasons. You can pray to him for knowledge, for wealth, for prosperity, for health, for romance. Romance, how? He helped Valli and Murugan to get married. Murugan wanted to marry Valli. So he comes as an old man to Valli's place in the forest as a Shiva Bhakta. And Valli was instructed by her father to serve this old man. So when she was doing it, one fine day he catches hold of her hand and she says, I want to marry you. So she is taken aback. She says, how can I marry you? You're so old. And you're such a great Shiva Bhakta. I am the daughter of a hunter. How can I marry you? There's no match. These days there's no need of match. But those days there's no match for you and me. How can we get married? So Murugan tries to appease her a lot. But Valli keeps evading. Then he remembers that before he set out for this task of marrying Valli, he had forgotten to pray to his brother. So, Vignata Kudukuravum avarthaan, Vignata Edukkurarum avarthaan. If you are not going to pray for him, he knows how to extract it from you. So immediately Murugan prayed to Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesha comes in the form of an elephant and then chases Valli. All of you know the story. Valli then asks Murugan for help, and then Valli and Murugan get married. ஸோ ரொமான்ஸ்க்கு கூட பிள்ளையார் தேவை. உடனே ரொமான்ஸ்னால் நீங்கள் என்னமோ நினச்சிக்காதீங்கோ. ஹீஸ் அ பிரணவ ஸ்வரூபம். ஹீஸ் அ எம்பாடிமெண்ட் ஆஃப் நாலேஜ். A standing example is when Vyasa wanted to write the Mahabharata. He has split the 4 Vedas. He has given us the 4 Vedas. He had written the 17 Puranas. Now he wanted to write the Mahabharata, and he knew it's going to be really long. So he prayed to Lord Narada, and Lord Narada came in front of Vyasa and asked, "Why did you call me?" Vyasa said, "See, I am very old, but I want to write the Mahabharata. I want a good stenographer." So Narada said, "The best known steno today is Lord Ganesha. You go and ask him." So Vyasa prayed to Lord Ganesha, and Ganesha appeared, and he asked, "What do you want?" Vyasa said, "See, I want to write the Mahabharata. It's going to be really long. I want a good steno, and Narada has recommended you." So Ganesha, without a single thought, "Oh yes, I can do it." He did not think how long it's going to be. I am so fat, I feel hungry, I have to eat, I have to sleep, I have to feel thirsty. No. Immediately the moment Vyasa said, "I want to write," he said yes. That never say no attitude. He said, "I will do it, but on one condition. You should not stop chanting. You keep chanting, I will be writing. I don't any coffee breaks. எடுத்தோமா முடிச்சோமான்னு இருக்கணும். You keep chanting, I will finish within no time. If you stop, I will also stop writing." So Vyasa said, "Fine, agreed. But I also have a condition, poti. Whatever I tell, you have to understand what I say and then write it. Split it grammatically. Ada tattvarthata purinjinde, that philosophy you have to understand and then write. That is my condition." This is a left-handed job for Ganesha. He said, "Fine, I can do it." Thus was born Mahabharata. 1,25,000 shlokas. Can you imagine? Was written by Lord Ganesha. Vishnu Sahasranamam we say, "Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave." Yeah, that means Vyasa is the avataram of Vishnu. There is no difference between Vishnu and Vyasa. And the Vyasa solely, if Ganesha has to interpret and write it, we can imagine what an embodiment of knowledge. And the Pranavatoda Swarupam, Vedathoda Sarmena Pillayar. Mahaperiva, Kanji Mahaperiva Ambaraga, he'll tell, we say Shivan, Murugan, Rama, Krishna, but we say Pillayar. We give so much of respect to him. We don't say Shivar, no Murugar, no. We say Murugan, Rama, Shivan, but we say Pillayar. So much of respect this God gets from all of us. He is an all-purpose God. I have already told you that. He is a very special God. How? There are many reasons. We just saw 2 examples. We go to Perumal temple, what do we do? Shantakaram, Bhujanga Shayanam, folded hands, right? We go to Rama temple, Shri Rama Rama Rameti. We go to Shivan temple, Pakarta Iva Samprikto. All the same posture. We go to the temple, we do this. But when we go to Pillayar temple, what we do? We do all these funny acts. All these have a story behind it. They have a scientific reason also behind it. Why do we do this is, first I'll tell you the story, because there are some children there. All of us know that Surapadman was a very powerful demon, and he was torturing all the devas. He had got immense boon from Brahma. Brahma has no work. Anybody who prays for many years, he just appear before him and say, "Tatastu, you take what you want." And then he'll go to either Shiva or Vishnu for help. So he had given immense boons to Surapadman, and Surapadman was torturing all the devas. He had all of them under his control. So Indra wanted to appease Shiva so that Murugan can take birth and kill Surapadman. So he comes to the Bhulokam, and he wants to do prayers to Lord Shiva. He constructs a beautiful garden. He wants to do puja to Shiva with a lot of flowers. But unfortunately, there is no water there because Varuna Bhagavan is under the control of Sura Padman now and strictly instructed not to shed a single drop of water. So Varuna is helpless, so there's drought everywhere. So Indra doesn't know what to do. Again he calls Narada for help. See, we all say Narada, actually Narada gives the right solution to the right person at the right time. We should never put down Narada and say he's a creator of confusion. He resolves many confusion. It's a very wrong concept. Using Narada in a funny way. So Narada comes and tells, don't worry, you pray to Lord Ganesha, he will help you out. So Indra prays to Lord Ganesha, and Ganesha comes down and says, don't worry, I will take care of it. Very close by, this Agastya Rishi is doing meditation, and he has the entire Kaveri in his Kamandalam. Our Potla, he has captured the entire Kaveri by his meditative powers. So Ganesha goes near Agastya. He changes his form into the form of a crow, and he sits on the Kamandalam. So the moment Agastya sees this, he is a little scared if the pot will fall down. So he tries to shoo the crow. The crow flies off. And apdi parakarche, and the Kamandalam apdi tattitu, it flies. So Kaveri starts flowing in full swing. She flows in all directions, making the land very, very fertile. Indra is very happy, his work is done. But Agastya is not happy. It's so great difficulty, I captured Kaveri, this crow made a big mess out of it. So he goes behind the crow to catch it, the crow changes into a boy. Apo he gets even more angry. Oh, there is some magic happening here. This was a crow, now it has become a boy, I don't know what it will happen next. So he catches the boy and appo kuttu porar. Kuttu, there are something which you can tell only in Tamil. Apdi kuttu porche, that boy becomes Ganesha. Agastya feels very bad. See, such sages, such great sages, they have done so much of meditation and they have got everything under their control. But when something like anger, when it comes, we are not able to control that emotion. It blinds us, it blinds the inner eye, it blinds the outer eye. So he feels very bad that he gave it to that emotion. So he asks pardon to Lord Ganesha. So that is why this practice has come, that we tap our temples. Now the scientific reason is that the nerve endings of the brain here help us to increase our focus, increase the concentration. So it's very, very helpful for all our children, even for old people. This I am not telling, people in the West, only if I tell Western researchers have done, we all follow. So people from the West have done research and have found out that these temples here increase the focus, increase the concentration of the child. Then we do one more act, the Madi Topukaranam Podu. That also has a beautiful story. Once Vishnu goes to Kailasam to see his brother-in-law, Shiva. And this Pillayar is sitting there. Very cute little boy, bulky stomach. And he sees Vishnu. He finds that Sudarshan Chakram very, very amusing. He says, oh, so nice. I think I can play disc with my brother. He just grasps that Sudarshan Chakram and puts it in his mouth. And he's sitting like that. So Vishnu is taken aback. Now without that Sudarshan Chakram, he cannot protect the world. And that is supposed to be a very, very heavy weapon. Only Vishnu can carry it. He puts it in his mouth. So Vishnu does everything to appease him. No, but Ganesha is in no mood to give in. Then he thinks, see, this is a small boy. So I have to do something that makes him laugh. And then he does this Topukaranam. Ganesha finds it very amusing. He starts laughing aloud. And that falls down, the chakra falls down. Vishnu takes it and runs away from there. Now after the story, the science behind it is, these points here, near our ears, these points, are acupressure points. In the West, again in the West, they have researched and they have called it as a super brain yoga. That is, these pressure points will help us to trigger both the lobes of the brain. Generally, we have a right lobe and a left lobe, and one of the lobes increases the intellectual capacity, the other lobe will be having the artistic capacity. So, none of us have a balance or are good at everything, right? So, by doing this, it activates both the lobes of the brain. So, you're intellectually advanced, you're artistically advanced. So, this is the science behind it. So, in this way, Lord Ganesha, that's why we do this Topukaranam, this Kutikarve, all these have a scientific reason behind it. All the Shastras, the Vedas, our culture, our entire tradition is based on scientific facts. We as elders, as parents, as grandparents, it is our responsibility to imbibe these in our children. We see that hardly people come to temple. We have to make it a point, a practice to come to the temple at least once a week, children especially. Come have a look at Ganesha, have his prasadam. I don't know how many of you have eaten the evening prasadam, it's just amazing. I come only for the evening prasadam. அவர் பண்ணுற பூஜை அழகு, அவரோட பிரசாதம் இன்னும் அழகு. It's even more tastier. All variety prasadam. If it is sakra pongal, I don't come because I don't like sweet. So make it a point to come to temple at least once a week. Tell stories to children. When they are small, we are used to bedtime stories. We say stories about Doraemon, about Dora, some characters, fictitious characters. Tell them stories about Dhruva or Prahalad or Ganesha, and we have to imbibe that bhakti before they are 5 years. They ask a lot of questions, no doubt. It's good that they ask questions. This generation is extremely smart. If some child asks why the moon is white, oh, we are so proud. My son asked me why the moon is white. Immediately we go to the internet, Google it, and then find out and explain him the answer. Tell them you ask this to your teacher. We give him a lot of advice. But when the child asks, Ma, why should we go to the temple? Everywhere God is there. Why only temple? Immediately, such a wonderful question. What you say is right. It's okay, don't go. It's okay is a very, very common phrase today. It is not okay. We have to find out answers. Why we go to the temple? Air is everywhere. But still, why do we sit under the fan? Because we feel the presence of air under the fan. In the same way, the Lord's presence is felt in the temple. The temple is just not made of bricks and cement. It is a place of lot of positive vibrations. A lot of factors are considered when building a temple. We find temple crowded only during exam times or wedding anniversaries. Wedding anniversary, not everybody will have the same day, but exam times, yes, it will be overcrowded. Or 108 suttu, 54 suttu. After the exams, it will double. Because whether he has written the exam or not, Ganesha has to come and put marks. And when they go around the temple, பிள்ளையாருக்கே தலை சுத்தம் அப்படி சுத்துவா கிடுகிடுன்னு finish within 5 minutes 54 rounds 108 rounds. Go around the temple as slow as possible. ஒரு பூர்ண கர்ப்பிணி எப்படி நடக்கிறாளோ, you are supposed to go around the temple that slow. Why? Because when we go around the temple, we have to introspect about the various qualities of the Lord, about the stories of the Lord, how much He has blessed us. Listen to a lot of stories from your parents, and grandparents have to tell more number of stories. Parents have to tell lot of, all our Shastras, Puranas are all attached to story. The philosophy is taught only with the story attached to it. Now if I come and tell philosophy without stories, I have some 10 points in my mind. I'll come and tell, but the moment I look at this crowd, I'm going to get nervous. I'll forget 5 points. So you listen to 5 points, and before you go home, all your mind will in enna prasada இன்னைக்கு சக்கர பொங்கலா புளியோகரையா தயிர் சாதமா இந்த ஆண்டி அங்கே போய் நிற்பாள் நெக்ஸ்ட்டு டொனேஷன் கேட்பாள் போன டைம் 1000 rupees கொடுத்தோம் இந்த டைம் 500 2000 all this mind. So out of the 5 philosophies that you heard, you will go back only with 2 philosophies. But whenever we tell stories to children, the philosophy comes along with that. So we have to encourage children to listen to more stories, to see good programs on television, to come to temple at least once a week. Thank God for all that we have got in life. There are so many people without food and shelter. We have to first thank God.